In Newfoundland and Labrador, stewardship programs have taken on a variety of challenging endeavors relating to wetlands, species at risk, and the marine environment. The people of this province know the importance of protecting the natural heritage that surrounds them. For thousands of years, inhabitants survived by living off the land and sea. Though times have changed, the natural resources are still an integral part of their survival. In recent years, valuing nature in Newfoundland and Labrador has become entrenched in our daily lives. The importance of cooperation and understanding between people, communities, and industry is showing us a brighter future through the legacy of stewardship. The Municipal Wetlands Stewardship Program was developed in the early 90s as an initiative of the Eastern Habitat Joint Venture. The Stewardship Association of Municipalities was formed in 1995 to provide a regular forum for members to share knowledge and help resolve wetland stewardship issues. It was incorporated in 1999, and member communities now number 18, with 3 of these located in Labrador. They have been responsible for securing 33,000 acres of wetland and associated upland, and influencing in excess of 400,000 acres. The first wetland stewardship agreement was signed with the town of Whitburn on May 31st, 1993. This was the beginning of what would be the upsurging of pride throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. More recently, Whitburn has been recognized for something else, where stewardship would lend a helping hand. Located in Sir Robert Bond Park, within the wetlands boundary, is a variety of very special lichens. A number of these are considered very rare in North America, and this small enclave of woods seems to have a thriving population. The community is now undertaking to educate the local residents about this fascinating discovery and ways to protect it. In western Newfoundland, one of the first community wetland stewardships was started at the town of Stephenville Crossing. In 1995, members of the local town council were given the opportunity to formally identify their responsibility as stewards of the wetlands within the local area. Hayward Young, a member of the original council, has seen firsthand the positive impact that stewardship can have on a community.
There's no doubt that we're on the map here now as far as the bird watching area. We are probably the best model, and I'm saying that with a bit of pride in that. But we have grown over the past 10 years as an area that is well known for the protection of habitat, and it seems like we got about 2,200 eyes out there looking out for the stewardship area. When it comes to birds and wildlife, we got it all here. It's a little piece of heaven.
Today, the surrounding wetlands and estuary in the Stephenville Crossing area are protected and provide a welcome sanctuary to a variety of waterfowl. This stewardship initiative has become embraced by the entire community and is now used as an example for other community-based stewardships to follow. Truly, a legacy to be passed on for years to come. The Upper Humber Wetlands Complex is identified by Cornerbrook Pulp and Paper as one of its special places. Many of these wetlands were created and maintained by the Birchie Dam, which was built in 1952 for logging. By 1992, the old dam had begun to deteriorate, placing the wetlands in danger. To protect these wetlands, Corner Brook Pulp and Paper Limited entered into a corporate stewardship agreement with the partners of the Eastern Habitat Joint Venture. Through this agreement, the resources of the North American Waterfowl Management Plan were made available for the construction of a new dam. Today, the wetlands flanking the Upper Humber River support the highest recorded densities of breeding ducks in insular Newfoundland. Not only a haven to waterfowl, this area offers much in the way of food and shelter to many types of wildlife. In Labrador, the Iron Ore Company of Canada, IOC, has opted to go beyond the existing environmental regulations associated with the stabilization of mine tailings and have implemented the Tailings to Biodiversity Project. Through a creative use of inert tailings, a mixture of rock and sand wetlands, uplands, and riparian areas are being created. Over the next 40 years, thousands of hectares of new habitat will be created to benefit migratory birds and a host of other wildlife species.
The wetlands program is important to IOC because it really demonstrates IOC's commitment to be a part of the conservation of the areas in which we operate. And we do need to respect the license that we get to remove ore from the ground and treat the land that we're interacting with in a good way. So it's new habitat. You hear frogs in the background. It's just becoming a real, true wetlands.
The company's initiative has also resulted in a municipal wetland stewardship agreement with the town of Labrador City and has encouraged the adjacent town of Wabush to become involved. As a part of the Tailings to Biodiversity Project, IOC has also developed a wetlands education program to enlighten young minds about the importance of diversity in their wetlands project. Through education and cooperation, the Iron Ore Company is creating a legacy within the minds and hearts of the residents of Labrador West, which will result in substantial benefits to waterfowl and other wetland-associated wildlife for a long time to come. In southwestern Newfoundland near Port aux Basques, a stewardship initiative has been developed to protect and save the piping plover. The piping plover is an endangered shorebird that nests on less than 10 beaches in this area of Newfoundland. Over the years, this endangered shorebird has had a difficult time with habitat for breeding. All-terrain vehicles and human encroachment have been detrimental to the recovery of this species in Newfoundland. It basically comes down to the fact that local residents did not know they were harming the piping plover. Through the stewardship agreement and education programs, the local community has taken it upon themselves to ensure the survival of this small shorebird. A long-term monitoring program is being undertaken by the province, Canadian Wildlife Service, and local stewardship groups. Breeding areas are now protected, and local people are well aware of the importance of saving the piping plover. For Newfoundland and Labrador, stewardship is becoming a natural way of life. Much of the work in designing and implementing many of the programs has been through the province's Department of Environment and Conservation and its Wildlife Division. By planting the stewardship seed in communities and the people living within, our future looks brighter. When it comes to the environment, everyone is a stakeholder, and everyone has a responsibility to protect and value nature as they value life itself.